What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. Today we got a couple of full stories for you guys. To start it off, we have X-Men 97. This is the official prelude leading directly into Season 1 of the animated show on Disney+. Season 1 kind of jumped us into the middle of things. So this 4-issue miniseries is an opportunity to get a little backstory, to see Sabretooth, to see the Marauders, Sinister making his first attempt at trying to steal Jean Grey, to take her baby. But it's also Cyclops finding his own footing, no longer having Charles around. He's trying to figure out things on his own. He's trying to figure out how to lead the X-Men, not just in a combat capacity, but in everyday life. And so, with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we're picking up with Magneto in Times Square. He says the time has come for a new mutant kingdom, one that will be built on the ashes of this obsolete world, using his powers to levitate cars into the air. It doesn't take long for the X-Men to show up. In the typical fashion of Wolverine, we see him jump in immediately, as if he hasn't learned that he can't do anything to Magneto. He definitely can't do that when he jumps out of formation. With Wolverine doing this, Storm has to save him. This leaves everybody else on the team vulnerable. The plan has gone sideways. With the entire team just being thrown around, we see the simulation end. This was all the danger room, with Cyclops leading the team trying to figure out his footing now that Professor X is gone. We see that Wolverine and him are bumping heads. Storm breaking up this before it goes too far, and Beast chiming in just at the right time to let them know that they got a situation with Dazzler. She has been kidnapped by the Friends of Humanity. This seems to be a ploy to disrupt the evening's Charles Xavier Memorial Concert that Dazzler was going to be doing, and Beast has a trail on where they might have gone. And so with this, the X-Men go to jump into action. But before they do, Jean says that she's gonna stay behind. All day she's had an upset stomach, and nobody but Storm notices that this is a little bit more than an upset stomach. But as we pick up with the X-Men team arriving on scene, with Jean out of the picture, Beast called in some backup, called in some heavy hitters to help out with a little bit of dealing with the Friends of Humanity. So when the X-Men team show up, Rogue and Gambit are already on site. With the wall being broken down, the X-Men, they charge in. They start knocking some heads. One by one, the guards begin to fall, and Jubilee is able to make it to Dazzler. And as they free her and have a little bit of conversation, somebody else enters the room. Valerie Cooper, the liaison on mutant affairs. At first, the X-Men think that she's here to arrest them, but Dr. Cooper is actually here because of the president. He wants to take a new approach after what happened to Charles Xavier, a more sympathetic stance. As these agents begin to arrest all the Friends of Humanity, we see that one of them, one of her agents, Agent Denty, he's letting these Friends of Humanity know that if they keep their mouths shut, they play ball, he'll have them out in no time. And Wolverine smells something on him, something familiar, but he's not able to pinpoint exactly what that is. With the X-Men taking off and arriving back home, Jean is there to greet Cyclops. She wants to tell him something that she has just found out herself. But he is so preoccupied with the debriefing, with work, with running the X-Men, with doing what they do, he kinda brushes it off. But what she holds in her hand is a positive pregnancy test. This is the day that Jean Grey found out she was pregnant. Taking us over to Beast and Bishop. Beast is trying to fix the device that allows Bishop to time travel, unsuccessfully trying to fix it. This is advanced technology that not even he can fully comprehend just of yet. This is gonna be a lot of trial and error, not something that's gonna happen overnight, which means Bishop is stuck here at least for the moment, with Jubilee dragging Bishop to the concert of Dazzler. Storm was gonna go out, but she saw that there was something up with Jean. That's what takes us to the rooftop. The two of them have really grown to be like sisters, and conveying to Storm that she's just having trouble right now. Almost like her relationship is becoming an afterthought to the mission, to everything going on with the X-Men. Just a moment of comfort for Jean. Somebody to talk to, somebody that might at least be able to help her work through this situation. Of course, Storm's advice is to just talk to him, to take the moment and let him know what is going on. In the danger room, we see Cyclops and Wolverine are still not getting along. Wolverine is challenging his authority at every single turn. It gets to the point where Cyclops and him are going toe-to-toe. While they sort all this out, Beast is currently talking to Moira, specifically talking about Bishop's little device that allows him to travel. He is asking her advice on how to be able to crack it. This is what takes us over to the concerts. As everything's getting underway, we see that Jubilee, Bishop, Rogue, Gambit, they're all here. But before things can truly kick off, we have the arrival of the Nasty Boys. They knock Dazzler right off of the stage, Rogue catching her just in time, and then the crowd begins to panic. While Jubilee and Bishop try to calm people down, Gambit's not wasting a single second, he's going after the guys. It doesn't take long for them to be taken down by Rogue, Gambit, and Dazzler. These guys hightail it out of here very quickly, and while they could go after them, Dazzler says, nah, let's get the show on the road. Let's get this going. While the concert begins to get underway yet again, we pick up at the mansion, Jean and Cyclops. Now Jean, she's really trying to let him know what's going on, trying to get his undivided attention, stopping him and looking at him in his visor, letting him know that she took a test and she is pregnant. On the outside, we can see that Wolverine was eavesdropping and he's looking like a sad puppy dog. Elsewhere, we have the Nasty Boys that are showing up to their master. That master is none other than Sinister himself. He punishes the Nasty Boys for failing him. But what Sinister does know is that Jean Grey is with child. He knows that her child is going to be the genetic key that he has been searching for years. But to get his hands on this child, he must undermine what the X-Men have built with the public. To do this, he is going to enlist the help of some mutants. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we're picking up with Sinister. He has just got done watching the news, seeing the X-Men defeat the Nasty Boys. Enraged at Charles Xavier's noble goals and the X-Men trying to continue this on, the key to his genetic research is finally within his grasp, incubating inside of one of the X-Men, and he cannot let it slip away. He wants to remind humanity that the X-Men bring danger to their doorsteps, that they are to be despised and not celebrated. This is where he sends in the Sinister Seven. As we are taken back over to the mansion, we see Jean and Scott celebrating the great news that they are about to have a child. But Wolverine did overhear this. Obviously, the man's very upset. He hightails it out of here. He goes to get a drink at the bar. Now, Storm already kind of knew what was going on, but seeing Wolverine take off like this, she thinks that maybe Logan needs a friend. And after Storm leaves, the mansion is almost immediately attacked. One of the Sinister Seven, we have Hazard. Now, he breaks in, and Scott's first response is to tell Jean not to overexert herself. Right now, he is being extremely overprotective because he just found out that she's pregnant. Meanwhile, Bishop, Rogue, Remy, Jubilee, they're all crash landing. They were in the skies over New York City, and then they were hit by an electromagnetic pulse. The system's fried. Rogue is the only thing that was able to bring them down to a safe landing. But as they get on the ground, they are greeted by one of the Sinister Seven. They are greeted by Sienna Blaze. We are seeing that this is a coordinated attack on our X-Men. And as we pick up with Wolverine and Storm at the bar, really just talking about how Wolverine is feeling. Everything that he's going through, the big news that came out, this is all really hard for him. Before this conversation can get fully underway, the doors are broken down and we have the arrival of Riptide. At first, Storm kinda laughs at this, because you're foolish enough to attack Storm, the mistress of the elements. Just the audacity of this person to come in here and think that you can challenge Storm. But Riptide's got some backup. We have the arrival of Sabretooth and the Marauders. And so as the X-Men are fighting multiple battles on multiple fronts, we pick up at the mansion. Beast picking his head out and seeing what's going on, only to find Cyclops is battling against Hazard, and with Hazard getting blasted by Cyclops. Beast wastes no time in charging in, with Hazard taking the opportunity to fly through the ceiling to regroup. We pick up with Bishop and the others. They are currently fighting against Blaze, with her tapped into the Earth's electromagnetic field. There is no limit to what she could pull off. And so when Rogue goes in to touch her, Blaze welcomes it, telling her that if you want my power, good luck. Good luck in controlling it. Taking us over to Wolverine, he is bulldogging Sabretooth out of the bar, while Storm handles all the others. Prison, Riptide, Harpoon, she's dealing with all of them. Now, while Sabretooth and Wolverine are going toe-to-toe, Harpoon is nearby, ready to put Wolverine down. But as he goes to do so, he looks over his shoulder and he sees Sabretooth. This confuses him, but it gives Wolverine the opportunity to break free of the real Sabretooth's grip. And by the time Harpoon realizes it, the fake Sabretooth has transformed, and we see this to be Morph. Sucker punching Harpoon, putting him down into the dirt. Alright gang, so this issue has us dropping right into the fray. Morph has shown up on scene, taking the form of the Hulk. He's ready to smash the Marauders. Instead of going with the classic fastball special, we see a little bit of a variation. The mean green slowball special, with Morph jumping off of Wolverine. We see him lay down a smacking. The X-Men very happy to see Morph back in there, back reunited. And so while Storm and him handle the others, we have Wolverine and Sabretooth. They go toe-to-toe, or at least it looks like they're about to. But Wolverine gets shot in the back by Agent Carl Denty. He is here to say that all mutants are under arrest. And so while Logan is handling this, we pick up with Rogue. She's currently going up against Cena Blaze. Rogue is unable to control herself. The entire planet's electromagnetic field is coursing through her. And Blaze watching this, admitting that the leeching effect definitely drained her of power. But to see her struggle, it was all worth it. When Bishop and Jubilee rush in to try and grab Blaze, she teleports out. And that's when Remy rushes up to Rogue. And he's able to comfort her. He's able to bring her down, help her control this power, how to subside it, how to bring it down. With this under control, they are livid. They're ready to fight. This is what hops us to upstate at the mansion. We pick up with Hazard. He is currently attacking Cyclops with everything that he has. He declares that all that follow Charles Xavier's cruel example, they'll suffer at the hands of Hazard. And Jean creating a force field around her and Beast, telling him that whatever you're doing, do it quickly. We see him activate the mansion's defenses. Steel panels closing up all the windows, slamming shut. But even with Hazard's destructive abilities, as things get destroyed, we see that Jean Grey is putting them back together, telekinetically undoing everything that Hazard has done. In a fit of rage, Hazard says that it's unfair. Not fully understanding what's happening, he takes off. In Westchester, we pick up with Logan. He's facing off against the agent, and Logan's really ready to gut this dude, but Morph stops him, holds him off. Storm rushes in and disarms them. This is when Logan gets a sniff of this guy and takes him back to his mercenary days, working with Sabretooth, working with Maverick. What he remembers is that this agent is a dirtbag. He's crooked, so when he goes in to attack, things go sideways because of Sabretooth and the Marauders. They hijack the agent's armored vehicle and they take off in it. So not only do the Marauders get away, but Logan is left dealing with this agent that's crooked. This is when we have a helicopter coming in. Dr. Cooper letting the agent know that this mission, it was not authorized. They take him into custody. Valerie Cooper apologizing to the X-Men, saying that this was not a sanctioned mission. He was acting out of line, and effective immediately, he is to be stripped of his rank. He will be facing a court-martial. Later on, back at the mansion, we pick up with the X-Men and everybody excited, ecstatic, and welcoming Morph back. They also kind of go over what had happened. Everything that happened with Blaze, Sabretooth, the whole 9 yards. But they also learn that Jean Grey is pregnant. And while most everybody is excited about this, we can read Logan's face. And so can Morph. Taking us several days later, we pick up at Jean Grey's family home. While some were very skeptical on trying to do any kind of baby shower or anything like that here, they figure no one's gonna try anything on the X-Men. Little did they know, the Marauders were headed for this quiet town. They were headed for the X-Men. It is time for Sinister's next step. The world believes the X-Men to be heroes. He is going to show humanity that these once heroes are going to be responsible for the destruction of an entire town. This is what hops us over to issue number 4. The final issue, what leads us directly into the animated show that all of us have absolutely fell in love with. We pick up with the X-Men all celebrating, all except for Logan. Logan's off in the other room pouting, and Morph really is doing all he can do to try and cheer him up. But obviously, that's not working. While everyone's enjoying themselves, everyone having a good time, the TV begins to crackle. When Jean's father goes over to find out what's going on, Rogue recognizes the energy buzz, screaming for everybody to get down. That's when the wall explodes. Blaze has shown up, the Marauders at her back, and Hazard is leading the way. Without hesitation, this battle gets underway. Marauders versus the X-Men. Prism versus Jubilee. Harpoon taking on Morph. Bishop and Cyclops taking on Hazard. Arc-Light versus Wolverine. But there's one missing from here. That individual is Sabretooth. That's what hops us over to elsewhere. While Sinister watches this fight unfold, Sabretooth more or less is like, you know what, I'm good. The Marauders kind of need me more than I need them. But if they can't handle Logan and his little friends, they're really just dead weight anyway. Telling Sinister, I'll see you when I see you. Now, our X-Men team, they've been putting up one hell of a fight. The truth is, these one-on-ones that they're currently doing, they're not working. Cyclops tries to regroup, but Wolverine, he comes in and he says no. Like, I'm not doing this. Everyone argues with him that we gotta work together. And Cyclops says, you know what, Storm, you're right. Wolverine has fought these guys more than Cyclops has. What do you think we should do? And so while it may not be routine, he tells everybody to switch it up. Wolverine goes after Prism, Bishop going after Harpoon, Jubilee going after Hazard, and Rogue and Storm focusing on Blaze. But this time we have Rogue grabbing hold of Gambit, stealing his powers, and then going after her, turning her entire outfit into charged kinetic energy. Wolverine made the right call. Switching up opponents changed the outcome of this battle in moments. Blaze wasn't so big and tough when she thought she was gonna blow up. We see the X-Men being led by Cyclops take down the Marauders. And while the danger may be out of the way, Jean understands the kind of danger the future holds. That even after the baby's here, there is no telling the dangers that may be lurking around the corner. Hopping over to Sinister, we know that he wants that child. We have Agent Carl Denty that is being visited by the Friends of Humanity. We have Magneto meeting up with Emma Frost and going over the last will and testament of Charles Xavier. We have a young mutant's powers that are coming online. This all lays the groundwork for what is to come, for what we know, for what we have seen. But no matter what lies in the future, Cyclops and the X-Men, they will face it together. They will face it as a team. They will face it as the X-Men. And that will be the end of this series. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Absolutely fantastic. Exactly what you expect from X-Men 97. Now, we already know what happens. We know what's to come. Having a little prelude to the animated series, absolutely phenomenal. And I definitely hope we get some more of it. With season 2 on the way, I definitely hope maybe we get a little bit of in-between time. Maybe some side quests, maybe some side stories. You guys know what I mean. I thoroughly enjoy X-Men 97. You know, if I'm gonna read an X-Men comic that focuses not so much on the Krakoan era, the 90s comics they're the bee's knees, baby. And this is not to take away from the modern era, the current X-Men comics, but the more modern stuff's kinda derivative. That's why I love the Krakoan era. The Krakoan era was unique. It was different. Love it or hate it, it wasn't the same. It was original. And as we transfer into this new era of X-Men comics after Krakoa, there's still some residual things left over, but it's really going back to some of its root stuff. Sinister, doing his plotting, waving his fist like a Scooby-Doo villain. It's those kind of things, which was enjoyable in the 90s. X-Men 97 is a prime example of that. But the era of evolution is upon us. The X-Men have grown. The characters have grown. They've changed. They become something different. Dare I say, they morphed into something else. And so while the modern era is feeling very resemblant of the past, there is no disputing that the 90s X-Men comics, X-Men 97, are stories that absolutely freaking bring it. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your theories. If you want to get caught up on everything that is going on with this series, go ahead, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It's going to get you completely caught up on everything going on with X-Men 97 and current X-Men comics. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to comics every single month. Not only are you helping out the channel tremendously, you are getting tons of perks in the process. Now, if you're unable to do this, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.